Hey, what's good? It's Clutch Entertainment here, back with another video. And for today's video, we're gonna be talking about Jordan Jenkins, our new supposedly outside linebacker, but he's gonna be playing probably left end or right end for us. And today we're just gonna talk about our initial thoughts and what he could bring to this team, and like what are our expectations and just stuff like that. What do you want to start with? Some stats, Drew?
So Jordan Jenkins, for the past 2 seasons, he has had a total of, in his entire career, he's had 22 sacks. In 2019, he had 8 sacks, and then in 2019, he had 8 sacks. So he's had a lot of sacks in his career. He's had a total of 189 tackles, which is actually pretty impressive for just a pass rushing outside backer, I must say. But we're going to be expecting him to play as a 4-3 D end in Lovie Smith's Tampa 2 system. It's going to be pretty exciting. It brings a lot of production to the defensive line. And in that system, I would expect us to have a rotational kind of D-line, because we have pass rushers like Jacob Martin, Shaq Lawson, Charles Omenihu, Jonathan Grenard, and other people like that. So I wouldn't expect Jordan Jenkins to necessarily be a starter, but he's going to bring a lot of production.
Yeah, and he's probably gonna be like a second string guy, probably behind like Omenihu or maybe Shaq Lawson, one of those two. In his 7 sacks in 2018, for his 1 and 2 sacks, he did a good club move, which is I think it's going under the lineman, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then his 3rd sack was a quick chop, which is basically just chopping down the offensive lineman's arms down. So based on those 3 sacks, we can tell that he's a pretty strong guy. So he's gonna be relying on his strength more than his agility or speed or whatever. His 4th sack was an arm over right tackle, and he just ran through the right guard, which is also an indication of power. And for his 5th sack, he just bull rushed a tight end. I mean, it's a tight end. It's not too much of a good blocker, so I guess it's pretty easy. For his 6th sack, the right tackle was too slow to pick him up, so it was also, I guess, pretty easy of a sack for him. And his 7th sack was unblocked. So I mean, for his 7 sacks in 2018, some were impressive, but I mean, some were just kind of given sacks. You want to talk about his 2019 sacks?
So first of all, I would say it actually reminds me a lot of Shaq Lawson. Shaq Lawson brings a lot of power and strength from the edge. Both played in a 3-4 as an outside backer in Buffalo for Shaq Lawson, and recently in Miami for Shaq Lawson too. And Jordan Jenkins played a 3-4 in New York. But yeah, in 2019, Jordan Jenkins had a total of 9 sacks. His first one was kind of a push and pull, where he's on the tackle. He's pushing them on his initial rush, and then he's just pulling him to the side. He got to the quarterback. He had another play where he had to use his chop move like he has before. As his 3rd sack, he used his strength into a bull rush. And then on his 4th sack, the defensive coordinator called it a stunt move, and he executed it perfectly and got the sack. His 5th sack was a chop, and then the 6th was a cover sack, so not necessarily what you want to see, but I'm glad that he got to the quarterback. And then in number 7, he dropped into coverage, got the quarterback after he scrambled. And the rate was just a trick play, so kind of being aware, knowing where the ball is. Number 9 was just a cleanup where the pressure got to the quarterback and he was there too. He was a very aware player, very capable of getting to the quarterback.
Most of our edge rushers are pretty much all power guys. Grenard, he has some speed, but he relies more on his power, I would say. Jacob Martin, he's probably like one of our fastest edge rushers, in my opinion. Shaq Lawson, he's going to be using a lot of power. Jordan Jenkins, he's going to be using a lot of power. And then even our interior D-line. Most of it is just power. So expect, I guess, our D-line to push a lot. Get a lot of, not, I guess, speed sacks, but more of a collapse the pocket, I guess. Make the quarterback uncomfortable. Maybe if we blitz a cornerback, maybe he's going to get more sacks than a couple of the D-line guys. If you had a guess, what do you think our defensive ranking would be for next season?
Right now, it's kind of solidified mostly at each position. Maybe another cornerback or safety gets added to the roster, but I would say it's going to be top 20. I would assume the team, once they get used to the scheme and everything, they could be a top 10 defense, even though that's kind of a bold prediction. Don't go crazy at me in the comments section, but the defense is pretty solid. The defense has a great vision of what they're going to do. They're going to play cover 2. They're going to have a lot of pass rushers available. Got a lot of power on it, like you said. It makes me actually pretty excited for Jacob Martin. Jacob Martin's a speedy little edge rusher. Doesn't necessarily have the strength of Shaq Lawson, Jordan Jenkins, and Charles Omenihu, but it's going to lead to a lot more opportunities, one-on-one opportunities for guys like Jacob Martin, Jonathan Bernard, all of those pass rushers. They should get a lot more sacks and turnovers, unlike last season.
Yeah, based on paper, I think it would for sure be a top 20 defense, and then we would probably sign maybe 1 or 2 more defensive free agents for sure in this offseason. I mean, that are like at least starting caliber or something like that. And then into the draft, we're probably going to get maybe a corner or another safety or something. So yeah, top 20 for sure. And one thing I would also like to look at, going back on Jordan Jenkins, a lot of Jets fans are pretty sad about losing him. Like in the comments on either Instagram or Twitter, or even in, I guess if you go search up Jordan Jenkins highlights, a lot of Jets fans are saying how good of a player he is, even though he hasn't really gotten too much of a chance or he's been injured or whatever you want to say. He's going to be a pretty good player. He's still pretty young. I think he's 26. The potential is there. He has everything for him there to succeed. And do you have any more last things to say on Jordan Jenkins?
Oh yeah, so in week 3 he suffered a torn labrum in the 2020 season. He ended up playing 10 more weeks. So until week 13 he played with a torn labrum, kind of hindering his stats a little bit. If you look at his 2020 season, he only had 2 sacks, but we're not really going to judge him on that. He has tons of potential, like you said, being only 26 years old. And I think he came to Houston to do exactly what he wants to do. Houston is the perfect fit for him in his mind, and hopefully he gets a lot of sacks in Houston.
Yeah, and let's just hope the best for him, and hope he fits in really well. And with that, that's gonna do it for the Jordan Jenkins vid. And Club Suit Entertainment out. Peace.